To start our section on LACs, that is level-aware calculations, let's drill down into the shared folders and then into the LACs folder. And then let's look at the LAC exercises starter. This analysis has a sheet called LAC-A example, and this is where we're going to spend our time for this video. Note that the data set we are looking at is the superstore data set. We have a pivot table, and that pivot table includes region, state, city, postal code, sales, and something called dynamic fixed sales, which we're going to look at in more detail in a moment. I'd like to point out that we have a parameter. The parameter is called LAC level param, and this parameter is tied to the LAC level control, where we can see city, postal code, region, state, and total. Currently, the LAC level control is set to total. Notice that the dynamic fixed sales is 2.2 million. If I set the LAC level control to region, you're going to note that the value changes so that we're looking at region value, 462,000, which is the region central value. I'm going to collapse central, expand east, and show you that that's a different number. That is 671,000, and so on for each one of our different regions. Let's take a look now at the state level. I'll expand central, and notice that the dynamic fixed sales is 71,000 for the state of Illinois, but Indiana gives us 51,000. And that's because the focus of my level-aware calculation is at the state level. If I change that to the city level, and then take a look at the city of Chicago, I'll note 48,000 under dynamic fixed sales. But if I select postal code, then I will note that I have identical values between all sales and dynamic fixed sales. Let's see what's going on under the scenes by looking at the dynamic fixed sales calculated field. Here I have some if-else logic that's looking at the parameter, LAC level param, asking if it equals one of the values that we saw, that is region, state, city, postal code, or total, and then is tying a value to whatever the parameter setting is using a sumOver function. Let's take a look within help on the right-hand side of the screen for sumOver. Notice that a sumOver calculates the sum of the measure partitioned by specific attributes at specified level. That specified level would be the region level or the state level. Or notice the brackets that are blank. There's nothing in there. That means there is no particular partition. We're simply considering the whole data set without any breakdown. And in that case, the total is realized. You may remember that 2.2 million that we were looking at earlier. As I scroll down in the help menu on the sumOver, I'm going to notice that the syntax is sumOver measure. Of course, we can see in this case that our measure is the sum of sales, partitioned by attributes. So the attributes that I'm partitioning by are region, state, city, postal code, or nothing. And then also something called calculation level. Now, in this case, we're not defining a calculation level because we are just going with the default. We're going to talk about calculation level in more detail in a future video. So that's our introduction to LAC calculations. Let's get our hands on the keyboard in the next video and learn how to apply this.